Hello everybody! Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm also recording this as a podcast episode, so if you're listening on a podcast, then welcome to the podcast as well. First of all, before we start this lovely reading today, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be getting back to readings again and hopefully starting up a bit more frequently. If you're listening throughout the podcast, then welcome back to the podcast. I've created this podcast on the go because I know that sometimes I don't have time to listen to the full video, the full reading, and I want to continue as I'm driving or as I'm walking somewhere. So if you happen to be watching the video and then you decide I don't have time to finish it but I do want to listen to the rest of it, then head to my podcast, which will be linked below, and continue there. Otherwise, let's get to our lovely reading today. Today we're looking at the Scorpio eclipse. We've got this super new moon, and with that comes a lot of challenges but also really exciting things. So I just want to look at some messages that we have today, what we can be working with, what we can be preparing for, because I do feel like November, such an exciting month. I never looked at November this way. I always had obviously February fixated for me because it's my birthday, you know, exciting month for that reason. But now this year, November, you know, the 11 really sort of wakes up in me this energy of wanting to achieve and wanting to do things and wanting to see what's out there for me. So I do have a feeling that there will be some really exciting messages coming through for all of us. So I do have some cards prepared for us here already. I do have the Moonology cards, I've got the Osho Tarot, I've got the 7 Energy Oracle, and I also have my friend's Tarot. Today I'm going to look at building a story, if you will. I do want to see what November's bringing, and with that we're just going to build a little story that may be telling us the story of ourselves, you know, what's coming. Before we start though, let's have a little chat about the eclipse. What is it bringing? The eclipse is the opportunity really to be introspective. So look inside ourselves, look at our energies, look at what's happened and have that really big reflection of what's gone on. You know, we are approaching the end of the year, so more so than ever, we should be focusing on what we've achieved throughout this year, what's happened, what was exciting, what was less exciting, and really plan ahead, you know, from that. Really use that momentum and move ahead from whatever's happened, even if it was positive or negative. Just utilize all of the skills and the wisdom that we gathered to our advantage. So the solar eclipse, which is what we've experienced and are still experiencing, is really an opportunity to start a new cycle. It brings fresh honesty, it brings integrity to the situation, and it brings new beginnings, you know. So I do really want to look at maybe what we beginning from scratch, but also what we might be restarting. So very exciting things. This is a collective reading, of course, so take what resonates, but I do think that if you're watching this or you're listening to this, there is a reason behind it. Don't ever try to make something fit if you know that it doesn't, because there's no point in that. It's just going to upset you, I think, and unbalance you. So this is a great opportunity to practice your intuition and work with your own energy. With that being said, let's start with our Moonology cards, and I'm going to pull the Oracle cards following that. So first of all, the Moonology cards. What energies is this eclipse bringing? Okay, straight away, we've got a few cards there, so we're going to take those. Let's move on to the 7 Energies Oracle. I don't shuffle for ages if I know that a card wants to come through, so that was very nice and quick. No waste of time, just like this eclipse. Momentum, Scorpio is the sign that rules this eclipse. It brings a lot of momentum, it brings a lot of deep feelings, deep energy. So there is no need to be waiting for things, there is time for action. There we go, thank you. Perfect. We're going to move on to the Osho Tarot cards. What's coming this eclipse? November 2022. Thank you. Any messages for November 2022? What should we be aware of? Thank you. Perfect. I do want to say, actually, I didn't forget, but I just didn't remember that the Osho Tarot is in Czech. So straight away, that just tells me, for example, there may be some opportunities to learn a new language. They may be traveling. There may be crossing paths with different cultures, learning about different people's perspective is just what sort of this evokes in me. So I'm just going to say that straight away. Right, we do have the Scorpio here, so that's nice that it's decided to make an appearance. So straight away we've got new moon in Scorpio, work through your fears. We have full moon in Cancer, a personal issue reaches resolution. And then we have new moon in Taurus, prosperity lies ahead. First of all, I do feel like November is a very prosperous month. Again, that 11 there in that month really evokes in me finances, evokes in me success, new career opportunities, leveling up. So really showing yourself off, showing who you truly are and getting that recognition. So I'm not surprised that the new moon in Taurus is here. Taurus is a very straight-headed sign, is somebody who really likes to be successful, somebody who can be very successful. So I'm not surprised that this sign is here to point us in, I can't speak, sorry, point us in that direction. So if you have been thinking of changing a job or leveling up in some sort of sense, or starting a different opportunity, maybe volunteering or showing your skills off in some sort of sense of the word, perhaps this is your sign, you know, really put that Taurus head on and allow yourself to do that. This personal issue reaches resolution and work through your fears. So I do think that this new moon that's coming up and this eclipse that we're having is really pointing us in the direction of going a bit deeper. I do think that we have been working on ourselves. We have been working through our fears. We have been realizing what's perhaps standing in our way. But this time we need to go even deeper. We really need to go to the root of the problem. So where does it stem from? You know, when was perhaps the first time that this fear came up? Or what was the first situation that triggered this in us? Because that's the way that we're going to heal this problem. So Scorpio really, again, is about introspection. It's about removing the focus from the outer world, about, you know, what people may be doing to us or how they're behaving towards us and how situations treat us, and rather look inside. How do we treat ourselves? What do we think about? How do we behave? And how does that reflect into our outer world? I hope that makes sense. I'm sure that if you're meant to understand this, you will understand it. It's really about you. You know, this is sometimes hard to hear because obviously if people do us wrong and they're behaving really badly towards us, it's difficult to take responsibility for that because it's not our fault that someone treats us badly or something has not worked out in our favor. But this month I do feel like, you know, for what we can take responsibility for, we should. You know, if you know that you can change something, you have the power to change something, it is up to you to take that step and do it. Yeah, so that's the first oracle cards. I'm gonna sort of weave in and out, of course. I'm gonna keep coming back to things as they come through, but for now let's move on to the 7 energies. So we have number 13, 4. Number 4 has been sort of not following me, like in a really positive way, has been really coming through and making itself very obvious and very present, which I love. Number 4 is the number of self-expression and patience and visibility. So that's why we've got the feeling the world here. You know, it's really about realizing that whatever you want to achieve, you can. You have the ability to do it. You just got to believe it. With that number 4 there, the patience, I think a lot of us have been manifesting our future. We've been manifesting relationships, money, career, health. And it's just about waiting for that right moment, especially with this next card, actually. Let's have a look at it. I can pick it up. It's number 6 and it's a card that says it is what it is. Here we can almost see like a portal portal, we've got sort of like I would call it a ribbon of life, and we've got this magical door, you know, like in Narnia, when you walk through, you have that whole another world there, but not everyone can see it, of course. You know, some people walk into the wardrobe and it's just the wardrobe. There is nothing to be seen because they don't believe it, they're not open to it, you know, they're not ready for it. But with the message, it is what it is, I think we just have to really believe that whatever wishes we are sending out there, whatever manifestations we're trying to make come true, just believe that the wish is already fulfilled and it will come when the time is right. I know it's hard to sort of hear these things, even for me, you know, when I really wish for something and I really want something, and then I just have to wait. I just have to be patient for like a month, 2 months. You don't know when it's coming. You know, it's that sort of right timing, you know, whenever it's meant to happen, it will happen. But trust that it will. I do trust with this card that things are coming together. You can almost see, I don't know if it's visible on the camera very well, but it's almost as if like something is coming in, like a little veil, and things are like coming into perspective, almost as if like a magic has been sent out and the door is just about being formed. You know, it's like whoosh, like that sort of energy, you know, things are just like coming into the picture finally, and then you can see clearly. So, you know, things are coming together. And I think right now, can't pick up this card, right now, it's about really dreaming big, you know, dreaming big and making plans, and also being realistic, you know, being realistic. So I think being also specific is the word that comes to mind, being very specific. So it's amazing to say, I want a new job or I want a new relationship, but specifically how, where, what will you do? What will it look like? How will you feel? You know, connecting that mind, the rational side, with the heart, with the emotion, really sort of bringing that into perspective, trying to connect different parts of yourself to the reality of it, because that's when it starts happening, when you feel it emotionally, when you start experiencing it in your heart and in your soul, that's when it comes together. So very interesting. Number 6, let me have a look. I have a little paper here that helps me out. Of course, number 6 is complete and utter devoted love. It's about, you know, home and family. So it's about coming back to where you feel the most stable and most comfortable. So perhaps loads of you are trying to manifest stability, not stability as in money and relationships, but stability within yourself. I do recommend to you that if you are looking for stability, perhaps you've been struggling with things like depression or feeling unhappy, feeling anxious, I do have a podcast episode on this, if you feel like listening to it, about happiness and why we sort of struggle to achieve it sometimes. It may be helpful to you, but either way, perhaps loads of us have been striving for stability, really hoping that things will come together. And again, I do seal with feeling the world that things are coming together, but they just may take a little bit more time, because with this Scorpio here, we may just need to release something else. When I say release, sometimes we have to go through some sort of a goodbye or some sort of, I don't want to say trauma because that sounds very final and very heartbreaking, you know, no one likes to go through trauma, and no one likes to think, oh, okay, I'm going to go through this trauma and it's going to be amazing because I'm going to gain something. You know, that's not how we think, but we have to let go of something, not let go as in like, oh, get out of my life quick because I want something else, but let go as in, okay, I'm ready to forgive, forget, or just push it aside for the time being, so that I can free up some space for new things to come in for me, you know. So that's what I really feel with this, that perhaps, and I do want to congratulate you, I do want to say that you've done such a good job, and I do think that you've worked very hard to let go of things and free up this space and try to be more stable, try to be yourself, because it clearly shows a personal issue, sorry, pushing the camera, a personal issue reaches resolution. I do think you've been working very hard, and I do want to definitely highlight that, you know, congratulate yourself, you've done so well, but there just might be one final step. We may not know what it is, and sometimes it's best not to know, because it will just happen automatically. You will come across some information, a reading, you know, out of this whole reading that I'm doing, you may hear one thing, and that's exactly what you needed to realize, or that's exactly the information that you needed to hear. And you may turn it off after, or, you know, say, oh, okay, I don't need to listen to the rest. But you had that information that you needed for things to start, you know, rolling, to start moving for you. So yes, I do think things are coming together, and it's very exciting. There's just perhaps one last little bit that just needs freeing up. When I say let go, I don't mean let go as in like, you will sit there and you will like, oh my God, I'm gonna let go of this. Like, yeah, okay, I'm letting go. Yeah, I'm pushing it out of my mind. Not like that. I'm thinking letting go as in like, slowly but surely giving up that control over how that situation's going to develop, what people are going to do, what's going to happen, what the result will be, that sort of thing. Just slowly letting go of that need to really have that power and that strength in there. Yeah? So that's what I'm thinking. Now, we had the Osho Tarot. So like I said, these messages are in Czech. So this message, number 5, really talks about, again, holding on to the past. Holding on to the past, and look at the imagery here. Somebody quite literally being in a box full of thoughts, full of confusion, full of burdens, loads of mouth imagery, so loads of things that people have said to you, loads of messages. I think confusing and contradicting messages. So maybe it's time to stop listening to what so many people say to you. You know, perhaps you're absorbing too much information. It often happens even to me when I am dealing with a situation, especially this month. I'm dealing with a lot of situations, you know, I still have a life and I'm still dealing with things. And when I start listening to card readings, for example, I do find myself in a loop of listening to many, one after the other, and sometimes the information is contradicting, sometimes the information is even deeper than the previous one. And what can happen is that you pollute your brain with information from another person, from another party, and that way you perhaps stop hearing your own voice. You maybe taking on other people's opinions as facts. You start thinking that that's what you think, that's what your voice is, you know. So maybe what this is saying is that we need to let go of listening to what other people say, the informations that we absorb from resources around us. You know, I recently had to delete TikTok because I just found myself being on it all the time, and it just completely started to like melt my brain. So I'm not saying that's what you should do, but maybe if you find yourself that you're doing that very often, maybe it's time to just take a step back, you know, let your voice come through again, let your voice speak to you again, let yourself hear yourself, you know. So yes, so step out of that box. This card really reminds me of the Fool card in tarot, where instead of being very narrow-minded and seeing things how we want them to see, you know, how we want to see them, we look beyond possibilities. We start considering other possibilities. So for example, if we think, oh, this person has an issue with me and we are not compatible or something like that. Instead of that, why don't you ask yourself, and what if that isn't true? What's the other possibility? What if this? What if that? And see how you feel, you know? Ask yourself these questions. That's how you wake up your own voice, your intuition. So yes. Also, as I said, this is about holding on to the past. So again, it may be some past traumas, what someone said about you, what people have suggested about you, that you took on as your own truth. So for me, again, if I just give an example from me, when I was younger, my sister was very sporty. She was always playing football and doing karate and all this stuff. And my parents always told me, you're not the sporty type. And they didn't mean it in a bad way. You know, my parents are very loving, but they kept telling me, you're not the sporty type. And I remember when I was younger, I never took on sports. I was quite chubby. I had loads of issues with self-image. And I always had it in my head that I'm not the sporty type. It was only about 2 years ago when I finally gone through this, you know, letting go, I suppose, working through my fears, that I finally joined the gym, started looking after myself, regained my confidence, and now I'm the fittest person in my family. I weight lift five times a week, you know, and I feel amazing about it. But it took that work. It took realizing that somebody said something to me that I took on as my own truth, as a part of my reality, as a part of my identity, realizing that that's what's perhaps happened, and seeing beyond the possibility. What if it isn't true? What if it's not true that I'm not a physical type, that I'm not a sporty type? What if I am, Let me try it. Let me release this. Let me go beyond my boundaries. Let me try something else. Let me release it. Let me forgive that they said this to me. And here I am. It took some time. Again, it took a bit of time, but I got there step by step, okay? So as an example, obviously your situation may be completely different, but hopefully you understand this example. So, and then we've got number 2, we have opportunities. Again, some sort of change in perspective. So again, I'm seeing a picture coming together here about changing perspectives. The possibilities, maybe you are very narrow-minded, not in a bad way, but you have your vision, and that's what you want. You want it to be exactly like this. And that's very good, because that's what brings you success. When you put something in your head, you want to achieve it. So you just go for it. You do it. You're just like, this is what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to achieve. I put my mind into it. And congratulations to you, because it's not easy to keep your vision, especially when other people maybe try to talk you out of it and things don't always work out. But you just get up and you try again. However, sometimes it's good to have that open-mindedness, have that vision, but don't avoid other possibilities. Don't lock other doors, Try and have that bird's eye vision, that perspective, seeing things from the bigger picture, seeing the bigger picture. Perhaps seeing how your decisions now may affect your future. So if I change my job now, what is it going to look like in a year? What do I imagine it to be like? Oh, okay, perhaps I do then want to add something else into it. Or what if I get into this relationship now? What do I imagine it to be like in a year? Do I want to be in a serious relationship? Do I want to just enjoy my life at the meantime? Things like that. Just really thinking about all the possibilities. That way you're sort of... you're radiating the energy of openness. And when we have the energy of openness, we are showing to the universe, God, angels, whatever you believe in, that we are ready to receive. This is very important. We are ready to receive. So we talked about here about releasing something, closing one door, opening another. When we release, we are freeing up space for new things, new opportunities. We have some divine timing here. So already a story is forming for me, but we are going to look at the tarot in a minute. Release something, divine timing comes with many opportunities, right? But if you're closed off, if you just have that narrow-minded vision, no, I want it this way, great, you'll probably get what you wanted, but you may be missing so many other opportunities around it. So many lovely little sparkles, oh, this is oh, wow, okay, and this, oh, great. Yeah, so having that open-mindedness, yes, having a vision, what do I want? But at the same time, not allowing things to come through, being very open, being strong but open, so that things can come to us, so that we can receive. Lovely. I'm so excited. So, with that being said, let's look at tarot. Let's have a little story, please. Let's have a story of how things may be developing for us in November. With the new moon, with the eclipse, Scorpio coming through. Let's have a story. Oh, I keep getting this card all the time in every reading I do. The Chariot, very exciting. Let's have a little story. Wow, the Magician. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you. Right, just noticing how the cards are behaving. The cards very excited and perhaps a little bit distracted. So let's focus our energy. Maybe that's what it's saying again. Yeah, let's focus our energy. Thank you. So let's have a look. We had the Chariot, as I said. We have the Magician. both Phoebe characters. Phoebe's my favorite character in Friends, so I'm very excited. Then we have the Devil. Okay. Death. No surprise here because Death, Scorpio, very much resonating there. So don't be worried. Everything's okay. Wow. Six of Pentacles. The Hierophant. Wow. Guys. A Queen of Swords. Okay then. Right. So let me just make sure you can see everything. Right. So let's have a look at this story. What's unfolding in front of us? The Chariot. Let's start there. Is very much movement forward. Is very much something taking on speed. Like, let's go. Yes, it's very much about even changing your perspective again, moving from a place that you were stuck in for a long time. If we look at the bottom of the... Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles here. All right. And top of the pack was the Empress. So I think it's moving from a place where you were happy, maybe, you were quite settled, you just got used to it, I'd say. Perhaps you were really actually, with the Empress, you may have been very successful. You may have been really enjoying your time in a place. I say a place, I don't mean the physical place, I just mean like a mental state. You were quite settled there, you just got used to it, it was all fine, but I think now you're ready for movement, you're ready for change. So the Chariot is just really supporting that here, just saying, you know, let's go, let's get this ball rolling. The ball is in your court, I would say, because the Magician here is all about manifesting, is all about creating your present, is all about changing your circumstances. So you have all the tools necessary to make the change, to make the difference. With that being said though, the Devil to me here suggests that, again, give up that control over the things that you cannot control. So if, for example, if you have a person in your life who you really want to be in contact with but currently are not, or there's some sort of difficult relationship and you've already tried to communicate and had no response, this card is suggesting give up that control, give them the opportunity to reach out to you themselves. Or if you applied for a job and you're waiting to hear back, you're not going to email them again to say, hi, have you decided yet? You're just going to wait it out. You're going to wait and see what the decision's going to be. So this card is saying movement forward, you know, things are getting into motion because we're releasing these problems, issues, traumas, things that we've been holding on to for a long time. We are manifesting our present, past and future. You know, good things are coming because we've got this Narnia door. You know, things are coming together. However, don't try to control things that you cannot control. Stay in your lane, I would say. You know, don't try to manipulate things into your favor. Again, with that openness, just be very open. That's enough. You don't have to do much more. Just be very open. The Death card, for some very scary card, for me very exciting card, because this is transformation. This is again a big change. So with the story coming through, it may be that, you know, you're putting things into motion, you've manifested or you already created your plan. What do you want your future to be like? And again, if we come back to the Scorpio, I would say the introspection part of things. Sit down with yourself and be very detailed, again, be very specific with the things that you want. What do you want? What does your job, you know, look like? What does your partnership look like? What does your dream so-and-so look like? Yeah, so be very specific so that you can manifest this. Connect with your heart. Don't take everything from the mind only. You know, I want a lot of money. Okay, good for you. Cool, why not? What do you want it for? What are you going to do with it? Why do you want it? How does it make you feel? That sort of thing. And I think through this practice, you're realizing that there's things that I just can't control and I need to give up control over these things, because once I let go, once I ease off, this big transformation will come and I'll be very open to receiving, because the Six of Pentacles comes in with the success, with the abundance. Look at Joey. Right, Joey has been splashing out. For those of you who know Friends, Joey gets this amazing job and he gets this new flat and he gets all these unnecessary things and he just spoils himself. Why the hell not? Because you've got this abundance coming in, but only if you allow for this transformation to happen. Only if you don't put that pressure, yeah? So easing off, opening yourself up. The Hierophant. Wow, I've literally got goosebumps. You probably won't be able to see it. Oh yeah, you can see it. I've got goosebumps because this is incredible, right? The Hierophant, the ultimate stability. Exactly what you've been wishing for coming true. Ultimate stability, the picture of health, the picture of wealth. People might be thinking, how the hell has she or he done this? Like, wow, they are so stable, they're so successful, this is incredible, this is somebody to look up to, you know, someone who's very settled and very stable in what they're doing and in what they have. And lastly, we've got the Queen of Swords. So again, she's got a lovely butterfly on her shoulder, suggests to me transformation. Just reminding us, I think, that even though we may be very settled and happy and stable, let's not forget that there's always room for improvement. Not in a bad way, but again, let's keep our options open. You know, this is not about being needy or unsatisfied or ungrateful, but this is just about being, I'm always open to new opportunities. You know, I'm always open to exciting new avenues in this sort of spirit, in this sort of energy. Very exciting, childish energy is really coming through to me. Something really just like, wow, I can't wait. Like, oh my gosh, you know? So yeah, very, very exciting. That's the story of November. Now I'm thinking, to finish off, let's actually grab a relationship card for anyone who may be wondering about their relationships. Oh, I'm so sorry, pushing you around. Wondering about their relationships in November. Let's have a quick peek. Okay, relationships in November 2022, Scorpio eclipse, new moon, full moon coming up. Relationships in November. Thank you. Ooh, very nice. Okay, this is the soulmate card. Again, transformation butterflies. A lot of beauty. I do feel a very positive, nurturing relationship here. If we only got this card and not the other one, this soulmate card will really suggest to me that you are coming across somebody who's just very helpful, very supportive, very nurturing, somebody who may be there for you to hold you up when you really need it the most, not necessarily in a romantic way, but in a nurturing, like a motherly sort of way, motherly energy. So like a partner, a partnership, you know, which can then develop, of course, into romantic feelings. But I do feel like it's somebody who's just very supportive and very kind and always there for you. However, we do have a second card, which is the card with the name of dating. So perhaps you're really coming across somebody, this is like a Romeo and Juliet, maybe even a forbidden love type vibe, okay? Maybe somebody, or this is the right thing, thank you. This is somebody who you perhaps may have not thought about as your counterpart. So again, with the opening up your possibilities, with not being stuck in your rut, not being stuck in your visions all the time, opening yourself up. This may be somebody who would never expect to become attracted to, who can actually be your soulmate. So yes, loads of potential for dating in 2022, but I do think this is all coming very organically. There is no specific like direction these cards are pointing into. Nothing is telling me like a job or romantic relationship or whatever, health. This is very open, and I think that's really important because the energy that we've been talking about this whole time is being open to new opportunities, new feelings, new risks, for example, going beyond your own boundaries, transformation, and the great abundance. Don't forget that abundance comes in all shapes and forms and sizes and people and animals and signs and symbols. So just be open. Yeah, don't expect anything, but at the same time, like I say, perhaps you do want to sit with yourself and just plan, put your thoughts on paper, be very specific. Once you've done that, close that paper off, close that book off, and let it just happen. Be open. you know, because you know what your vision is, you've settled it, you spoke your mind, and now you can just relax and expect things to come to you with ease and be able to receive them. So very exciting reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment, a thumbs up, or subscribe if you want to. If you do want to listen to my podcast, there is quite a few episodes on there already. So the podcast is called Card Readings on the Go. If you have been with me listening to this podcast, then thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in my next video or podcast episode. Take care. All the best. Enjoy your November.